Hi everyone, it's Catherine here at Cat V Stitches. It is the 5th of February, I think. It's Sunday. It's about 20 past 4 here in the UK, and it is a dull, cold day, but thankfully it has not been raining so far. So, small blessings and all of that. But I thought I would pop on and do a stitch with me because in the last 3 to 4 weeks I have done hardly any stitching. I've been knitting a cowl for my mum. It's the Land of Sweets cowl that I knitted for myself a year or so ago. But I knew if I didn't just kind of like sit down and knit it and not do any other stuff, that it would take me months to do it, because that's how long it took me to do my one that I did. So I have spent the last 3 weeks, my spare time, where I've not been doing, the normal household stuff, just knitting on that, and it is now done and dusted. I soaked it today, blocked it out, so hopefully that should all be ready for my mum on Tuesday, which I'm very happy about, and it's come out really nicely actually. I'll take a picture of it and show it in my next Flosstube, but I'm really happy with that, and it's actually prefer it to the one that I did, but and there's less mistakes than the one that I did as well. But no, I'm really happy with that, so I can give her that on Tuesday, and hopefully she'll get some use out of it. I mean, well, it's certainly going to be cold enough for at least a month or so here in the UK, so she should hopefully get some use out of it. But I thought I would pop on, do a bit of stitching with you, have a chat, have a natter, update you if anyone's interested in what's been going on in my life. But yes, I'm doing November by the Cricket Collection, and I'm working on this pumpkin or whatever it is in the V there. I would ideally like to get this done before November of this year, but who knows. I do love my Cricket Collection, so there's a good chance that I will get it done, but November is such a long bloody word that it might take a bit of time. I've done the letters for NOV and E. What I think I might do is do all the filling on these 4 before I move on to the last 4. So get this all done and then move on to the other half of the word. You get what I mean. Right, we go. This has been a trial to get this done today though, because I completely forgot how to set up the camera for my phone. I record on my phone, but I completely forgot how to set it up to do this. The position of it to get an ideal view without like tons of shadow, and to get so you can get a good view on what I'm doing, and my hands aren't in the way of the stitching, and also so I don't headbutt the phone every time I lean forward. And then there's the fact that I can't use my normal magnifying light, that's off on the side here providing the light, so I had to find my mag eyes that I've not actually used for a while. And I most certainly haven't used them with the glasses I got a few months ago, which are very focal, so it's all just been quite a bit of a trauma. So this is my 3rd attempt at this, but I think I have the camera angle right, and I can see my stitches now without going cross-eyed, and I'm just hoping that the dog, who currently is on her chair in the dining room, will remain in there for a while to give me a chance to get this done. She's been out for a walk today, so bear with me 1 second. Just have a quick drink. She's been out for a walk today, so I'm hoping she'll just chill now in the dining room for a bit. But if she does come in, I might have to pause this and get her settled, or maybe bribe her with some treats, so she'll to keep her busy for a while. But yeah, it's it's one of those crisp days today. Earlier on today, it was you know, it was quite bright but just very crisp. So it was a nice walk in my local park. It's just very muddy though. That's the only thing at the moment. Everywhere I am at the moment, every place, you know, other than walking on the streets with the dog, every place I can go that's nice, it's just all very, very muddy. So what I do is I kind of like set up a cleaning station in the boot of the car. So I've got, it's called a mud daddy. It's like almost like a, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for now? You know, that thing you use to water your flowers. Oh, for crap's sake, I can't remember. What's it called now? Well, one of those things, you know what I mean, with the spout on. It's like one of them, but it's you pour water in it and then you screw the top on it, and it's like it gets pressurized, so you pump it a bit, and it's got a little hose that comes out of it with a brush on the end of it, and you can then use it to brush down, a soft brush, not harsh, but you can then, the water comes out and you use the brush to clean all the dirt off your dog, and also it cleans your shoes. So I use this on her outside the car, and I've also got a cloth I use as well to get all the dirt off her. Then she jumps in the car, and then I've got the towel in there to clean her down, so that by the time we get back to the house she's all clean, and you know, and I've not got a dirty dog running in my house. But it's just half the time I can't be bothered taking her in the park because it's just so dirty. She just gets so dirty because, you know, she's a golden retriever, and golden retrievers just love, one of the dogs that just absolutely love, you know, rolling around in stuff and running in all the mud. And if I were to let her running in the rivers, because where I am, every single park around me is next to a river. I've got about 3 rivers near me, so no matter where I go, there's a river attached to it. So I've got to be so careful, because if I let her off the lead too close, she'll be in. She just loves it so much. You know, I've got a friend of mine who's got a golden retriever, and her golden retriever actually hates swimming, so she's fine. But mine, oh my God, she just loves it. Absolutely loves it. So yeah, I have to be careful. But yeah, so if I go in any of the parks, she comes back, she's muddy, and that inevitably means that I'm also muddy, because I get it, you know. Anywho, she's been for a walk today. She's nice and clean and just chilling out in the dining room on her favourite chair in there, and hopefully I'll get some time to do this stitch along. Yeah, so life. Let's do a rundown of life, shall we? Well, I won't take too long on this subject, but it is something that has happened. Had my dad's funeral, and that went really as well as these things can go. It was a humanist ceremony. He was cremated. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, excuse me. He was cremated, and my dad wasn't religious. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he, you know, he respected my mum. My mum was religious. My mum is religious, and my dad, you know, he respected that, and so we were all brought up in my mum's religion, Catholic. So, you know, he made sure that we would always go to church and all of this. And the only times he would ever go to church is if he had to come to any of our, you know, the important things, like, well, obviously when we were baptised, but when we had our, you know, first Holy Communion, when we, you know, confirmation and those kind, or anything to do with school where, you know, we were getting stuff in the mass or stuff like that, and he used to hate it. He always used to say, you know, is there a good buffet after this? You know, if ever we had to go to if ever we were going to a wedding or something like that, you know, he'd be like, oh my God, is this the full Catholic thing, you know, the full mass, or is it just the ceremony bit? And if he found out that it was going to be the full mass, it was like, oh, do we have to? and always it'd be like, well, is there going to be a good buffet after? So we, you know, for the funeral, it was basically just as he would have liked it, the short actual service, and then a good buffet after. You know, we did him proud with that. It was it was a good buffet. So yeah, it was strange. It was very, very moving. It was a very short, like, because it was just a humanist ceremony. So the priest says some things, and then my sister had written a eulogy that the priest read for us. We listened to some music, and then we went to the local golf club, which is literally behind where my parents live, and just maybe like 30 or so people there. To be honest, most of them were friends of my mum, because Dad wasn't, you know, he had friends and they came and that, but he wasn't as sociable as my mum, so a lot of them were there to support my mum, God bless them. So many people coming up to us saying, you don't need to worry if your mum ever needs anything and you can't get up, we're there for her, kind of thing. It was very, very nice. And my mum is a very lovely woman, and, you know, she's done a lot of things for people and they were there for her. You know, they showed their support for her. And so we went to this place afterwards, and you know what, it wasn't everybody sat around getting upset or depressed or anything like that. The close family, we kind of like got this we got a table and we all just sat there, and then we just laughed and reminisced and, you know, talked, and it was nice. It was very nice. It wasn't a I mean, obviously it was very sad for all of us, you know, he's our dad, but it wasn't like a depressing event, which I think we were all relieved about, because it, you know, we weren't looking forward to it, obviously, but it was, yeah, we got through it, and we were very relieved that it went without a hitch. The funeral place that we used were very, very good, you know, really supportive of my mum, to the point where a week or 2 weeks after the actual service itself, they were still calling her up to make sure she was okay. That, you know, it's a proper like family type place that really, sorry, I'm just counting this as I'm going along. It was a proper family, 1, 2, 3, 4 funeral directors who put great stress on, you know, it's not just about arranging the funeral, it's also to offering support to, you know, the family and things like that. So it was, yeah, we were all very relieved that the service itself was very, you know, it went through, how can I put this? There were no issues, so we could just sit there and do what we needed to do to get through it and not have to worry that there were any issues with what was happening. So yeah, and then, you know, I stayed at my mum's for a while that day, and then yeah, then it was done, and it was a very strange feeling afterwards. It was, you know, one of those things. But I won't go on with that. It was, you know, it was it was about a month or so now, you know, not quite a month, but it was a couple of weeks. You know what? I'll finish talking about that now. I just wanted to, any, you know, how can I put this? Sorry, I'm all tongue-tied here. What I wanted to say is, I know I put a community message out there for all of the many, many messages I got, absolutely lovely messages I got from people, you know, because obviously I mentioned in my last Flosstube what had happened, and I had so many lovely messages that really helped me, that just made me feel they just helped so much. And I know I put the community message out, but I also wanted to say here that I really appreciated those messages. They very much helped. Made, people letting me know that, I'm not alone in all of this, and that they're so sorry, and sending their support. Well, it was support that was greatly appreciated, let's just put it that way. And every now and then I'll go back and read the messages, and they do truly help. So I wanted to say thank you so much for that. It's been a bit difficult because things have been stressful in other respects as well, and we're all desperately trying, we're all trying to support Mum and do whatever's needed for her, and it's not the easiest, given that she lives in Lytham. Well, she lives about an hour or so away from us all, but you just have to do what you have to do, don't you? But anyway, moving on from that, life has been, it's been interesting. It's been busy and interesting. As somebody at my work has said to me, it can. I was telling him something that had happened, and he was just like looking at me, and he was like, "Do you know what, Catherine? I sometimes wonder how you manage to get into work at all, because there's always something happening." And I was like, I know there's always something happening, trust me, because it's happening to me. So I have now almost set fire to my house twice, because I bought a new toaster, and the first time I had the settings wrong. I had the settings, so you know how you can set the timer for how long you're going to do your toast for and all of that. And my old toaster, I'd had it for quite some time, so you used to have to really crank it up there to get it to do your toast well. Not thinking I did that to this toaster. And then I went upstairs and was getting ready for work, because I'm a bit weird, because I think I can admit this to you. I think I'm in a safe space here, but I actually like cold toast. Now, there is a good reason behind it. I like, normal toast as well, but generally I'll have cold toast, or toast that's, pretty lukewarm or whatever. But the reason being is if you do toast and just like leave it in the toaster for a while to cool down, so it's still nice and crispy, when you come to put your marge or butter or whatever, when you put it on, it doesn't just melt away, and so therefore you don't know how much you've really put on there, and then you end up putting far too much on there. If you put it on while it's fairly cold, it just stays on the surface and you can see exactly how much is on there, and you literally end up using a fraction of what you would normally use. So it's just, for me, it's just a better way of controlling how much I'm putting on there, which I know is a bit weird, but it works for me. But what that generally means is I'll put the toast on, put it for the set amount of time, and then do what the manufacturers say you shouldn't do, walk away from the toaster. But let's face it, everybody does. And I'll just go about my business. I'll be upstairs sorting the cats out or getting ready. Let me just very quickly start this. So I'll be doing that. I've let this go really long, but sorry, one second. There we go. So I'll be doing that, and right, let me just double check. This was 3776, wasn't it? Just checking my colours here. Yes. And the toaster will be doing its thing downstairs. But obviously this is a new toaster. I'd put it on the same number as I would the old toaster, and unbeknownst to me, the whole thing set fire. So it didn't just burn my toast, literally it set fire to my toast. But my doggo was downstairs, didn't bark or anything. She just came in the lounge and hid in a little baskety type thing in the lounge, and yeah, it didn't just burn it to a crisp. It like burnt it to, so there was nothing but like ash left at the bottom of the toaster. It just vanished. And my downstairs, the fire alarm went off, and initially I thought it was next door's fire alarm, and then all of a sudden the smoke started billowing upstairs, and then the fire alarm upstairs went off. And the smoke was so thick downstairs that when I came downstairs to go into the kitchen, you couldn't see anything. It was just like total whiteout. And the two alarms were just blaring off. They had the front door open, I had the back door open. There was like smoke billowing out my house. God knows what my neighbours thought was happening in here. And the whole house stank of burning for like days and days. It took forever. It took literally until about last night for me to be able to come into a new room downstairs and not immediately smell the burning smell. But yeah, and at least I learned that my fire alarms are working, let's just put it that way. But then this morning I decided to have toast again, and I did change the time on it to a lower time. It's my own fault. I should have stayed downstairs with the toast, but I wasn't thinking, and I just did my normal. Went upstairs, and yeah, it set fire to the toast again. So I had literally, it wasn't as bad as the first one it was Monday that it happened, that one, but it was bad enough that it still burnt it to an absolute crisp. And yet my house smells again of burnt toast. So great. And again, my neighbours must have wondered what the hell was going on with my fire alarm blaring and smoke billowing out. But I've never done that before. Not once have I ever done that before. I mean, obviously I've had a little bit of burnt toast and, but still edible burnt toast, but never like burnt it to a point where it had collapsed in on itself and it was literally just ash at the bottom of the toaster. Well, we live and learn. I'll certainly have to do a bit of experimentation with that toaster to see to get it to work properly. Let me just see, we're just coming up to the top of this now. Yeah, so my house basically stinks of burnt toast now. I'm just hoping that it's not something permanent, because I've got all my stitching and that on the walls down here, and I've got that big wall hanging that I did of Long Dog Pilgrim. So I'm just hoping against hope that that's not going to permanently stink of smoke now. Okay, I've not thought about this. I have. Is this right? This does not look right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, bear with me, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that is right. I'm going to have to carry this across now, 3 across, but something, 1, 2, 3. I think that because this isn't over dyed, I think this is tight enough that you're not, once it's up on the wall, you're not going to see it. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sod it, I'm just going to do this. And this isn't a witchel, this either, so I find on some of the cricket collections I've done, I've used a witchel. The weave, you can see everything through it. So that was something I didn't realise that, and I was too far into it when I realised that if I carried anything, how cricket collection ones, sometimes have these ninja stitches that are all over the shop, and you either do individual stitches or you carry the thread all around. So I was doing that, and it was then that I was realising that all of this is going to show through, and it was a right pain. But this is a Swigart one, so I don't think it's going to matter. But yes, so that's me nearly burning my house down. And then there's been, the dog picked up a ear infection. So her poor ear was an absolute mess. So I had to go to the vets with her, and because her ear was painful, she wasn't really happy about me. I had to give her ear drops, 4 drops twice a day, and boy was she not happy about that. Her other ear, I was able to, I could touch that and clean and blah blah blah, no problem at all. But the sore ear, it's been a nightmare. I had to get do you know those watering can? Oh, for Christ's sake! Sorry, that's the word I was trying to think of before. Sorry. Moving on. Those, you can get those things with small suction cups on that you like put on walls and things like that, and then you put peanut butter or something on them so the dogs can lick them. Well, I had to dig out my one of that, so to keep the dog occupied. But even with that, it was still an absolute nightmare getting these eardrops in her ear and then cleaning the ear. But I've been able to do it, and she doesn't hate me too much, and the ear is miles better now. But the poor thing, she'd been, it wasn't just that it was a sore ear, but then she gets at it, doesn't she, when they start scratching themselves, and it makes the ear all red and inflamed. So I felt so awful for her. But it's miles better now, though. The drops have done the trick, and it's not quite there yet, but it's, in comparison to what it was, let me get rid of this, it's annoying me. In comparison to what it was, it's a lot better. So that is good. And I've been going to my mum's, sorry, just let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6. Sorry. I've been going to my mum's every Tuesday to work, but the reason I'm doing it is because there's a lot of things that my mum might need to do that if I were to go up a Saturday or a Sunday, we might not be able to do. So, like if she's got appointments she needs to go on or something like that. So I have been going up on Tuesdays and working, and then like finishing early, or on my lunch I have been, sorry, I'm just 1, 2, 3, 4, on my lunch taking her to her appointments, or I'm taking her to the shop just so she can get anything she needs. And while I've been going to my mum's, I have been dropping the dog off at doggy daycare. And it's been interesting because she loves other people and other dogs, but she is quite timid. So, I know it's only a fraction of this, but I can kind of imagine what it's like for people when they're like dropping the kids off at at daycare or nursery, because she'd be like trembling and not wanting to go. They're telling me that she's absolutely fine once she's settled in. But then when I'm leaving, she's certainly eager to get in the car. But I'm wanting her to like socialise with more dogs, because we'd got in a really good position just before Christmas. Every Saturday and Sunday we'd go to the local park early in the morning, and there'd be a group of people there walking the dogs, so she'd be lots of dogs that she could walk with. And she had a friend, so to speak, that we would meet up in the mornings during the week. But it was getting really dark, and it was, you know, it wasn't the best to go that early in the morning in the park. But then she came on season, and that was like a good 3 to 4 weeks. So we were having to walk around the pavements, because I didn't want to get in, caught. And then, no, sorry, it started off, right. So it started off with getting a water infection. So that was a week she was out of commission because she had a high temperature and she wasn't feeling great. So we were just doing short walks around here. Then she came on season, so that was another 3 or so weeks that I couldn't really take her to the park, because there's too many dogs that are off lead, and it would just be too stressful. And then I got COVID, so then that was another week and a bit. And then everything with my dad happened. So all in all, it was like over a month where she wasn't around other dogs and really other people, because there wasn't really people coming to the house and things like that. So she'd got really good around other people, but we kind of taken a couple of steps back. So I thought maybe by going to doggy, booking her into doggy daycare once a week, it would help with that. So I'm trying to still do that, even though I do feel guilty every time I drop her off. But I'm just hoping in the next week or so that she won't be as, I'm not going to say stressed about it, because they do tell me that once she's got a chance to get in there and she's running around with the other dogs, she's still a bit timid, but it's not stressing her or that. But I do still feel a little bit guilty. But yeah, so she goes to doggy daycare, and I just work up at my mum's, which is actually working out quite well. It's I go in the dining room and my mum putters around the rest of the house, and I do what needs to be done. I am very, very lucky with the job that I've got, that I can do that. My boss is very easy about that. It's literally so long as I'm doing whatever needs to be done, then he's absolutely fine. I mean, I go in to work Mondays in the office, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I generally work in the office till about 1:30. Then I'll come home and do the rest of it. Work from my office at home for the afternoon, and then obviously on Tuesday and Thursday I work from home all day, and it's up to me. If I want to change those days, I can. The only thing my boss had ever said was that he'd rather me not work from home all the time, because he doesn't think, he thinks that it's good for people to come into the office and occasionally. So I am, very lucky that he's very flexible about things like that. And also when, after my dad died, and that, he was brilliant, and he literally said to me, you just come back whenever you're ready and don't worry about money or anything like that. You'll be fully paid, which, I mean, although there is a lot of companies do have do give you paid leave for things like that, but he had just basically left it open-ended for however long I needed, which I was very grateful for. 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1, 2, which I was very, very grateful for. So yeah, I am aware of how lucky I am. I just, given my luck with jobs, though, I'm just like praying that this lasts, as the industry I'm in at the moment is things that are getting a little bit stressful. But I'm not going to go into that now, because yeah. Let me just, I think I have actually screwed up a little bit here. 1, 2, yep, I have screwed up. Oh, have I? No, I haven't. 1, 2, 3. Oh boy, yes I have. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll fix that later. So what I have done, sometimes, is this something I can fix? So this is fine, this is fine. Let's do this together. This is fine, and this is fine. 2, 3, 4. Then this comes all the way down here. Then this is fine to 4, to 3. Ah, right, okay. So this is there with, this should be further across. Okay. Right, I'm not going to unpick what needs to be unpicked now. What I'm going to do is fill in this other colour here. I was actually thinking of maybe doing at some point a live stitch along, because this is just me sat here yabbering away. I have no idea if anybody finds this interesting. I have no idea, you know, what anybody, you know, what you would like to hear, or if you would even like to hear me talk. It may be that you sat there thinking, well, we don't even really want to stitch along with you, Catherine. We barely get through your floss tubes. But I was thinking of maybe doing a live one, but it might be in this format with just the one camera, and then obviously I'll have the comments on either my iPad or on the, well, I could do it on the telly actually, if I'm honest with you, but do it that way. And so, or I could do it where I have, you know, like a 2-camera option, although I'm certainly not going to buy a camera to do that, because I think there's applications on there now where you can do that using your phone as a webcam. And if you've got 2 phones, you can use them as 2 webcams, but I'd have to look into that anyway. But I was thinking of maybe doing that so that I can have a bit of interaction. So if anybody would be interested in that, please do comment and let me know, because it would be nice to kind of like have a bit of a conversation, you know, as I'm doing this. Yeah, I'm still a bit annoyed with myself that I'm going to have to pick this out, but never mind. It wouldn't be, I think practically every single stitch with me I've done, I have miscounted or, you know, done something wrong, or used the wrong colour, or, and if I'm totally honest, that isn't just in stitch alongs that I end up doing that. In real life, when I'm stitching, I will get distracted, and, you know, I'm easily distracted, and end up doing something wrong. And sometimes it's something you can just, you know, fudge and move on from, and then other times you need to 1, 2, 3, you need to unpick and start again. Although, to be honest, that's pretty much life, isn't it? It's not just stitching, that's life. Sometimes you can fudge it and carry on, and then other times you've just got to rip it off and start again. I sometimes wonder if I should do that, you know, with my profession, but I've come too far now, and if I were to do that, I'd have to, you know, start again. And at my age, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do that. So you got to make the decision and then live with it, don't you? So this weekend has been, moving on from that cheery subject, I am actually really enjoying stitching again. I do like knitting, but I do, out of the two, I do prefer doing cross stitch. But this weekend I've actually been quite productive, and I have no idea where all the energy came from. So yesterday I basically got together every single article. Oh, nope, that's in the wrong place. Every single article of clothing I own, everything, plus all my bedding for some reason. I don't know why I did the bedding as well, but bedding as well. Dumped it all on my bed and sorted through the whole lot. There were articles of clothing that I've had for over 20 years that I may not have worn in 20 years. And we're not talking about, expensive or really like lovely pieces that, you keep for that length of time. No, I'm talking about crappy things that couldn't be worn, that are worn down or whatever. And I'm like, why the hell have I still got this? So I went through it all and then organised it all. Completely and utterly organised it all. So now every drawer, my wardrobe, everything, it's all beautifully organised. And then weren't over, then took the dog for a 2-hour walk. I then got back and did a rearrange in my office upstairs, which took a good 2 hours, and then had a Zoom thing in the evening. And I was like, what the hell? Where has all this energy come from? And then this morning I was doing stuff again. So no idea what's been going on. And again took the dog for a walk. So I'm wondering if somebody's snuck something in, some drugs or something, but I feel like I have accomplished a lot, as well as nearly burning down my house. I feel like I've accomplished a lot this weekend, so that's good. And I have a nice clean house. There we go. Yeah, so I have a nice clean house, and it's always that lovely feeling, isn't it, when your house is nice and tidy, and you can. Sorry, just bear with me. I'll just have a drink. That's better. When your house is nice and tidy, and you know that I've done a ton of washing as well, and changed my bed, and I've had a shower, so tonight I'll be getting in that nice clean bed. Clean bed, clean body, clean hair, and I can just sit back and chill, do some stitching, put something good on the telly, and just relax now till tomorrow morning when, work. It's it's nice. It's a nice feeling. I've got my tea. I just need to pop in the oven, and the dog has left me alone. So this has been nearly 45 minutes now, and she's still chilling out in the dining room. So that's good. As a thank you, I'll give her a treat when I've finished. No, she is starting to calm down a bit now. She still gets a little overexcited when she sees people, but it's a lot better, and her recall is a lot better. I think it's just fine tuning now. She's 10 months old now, and probably in 2 months' time she is going to. Let me just see. It's one down. I'm going to get her in to be spayed. So I won't be having puppies with her, and she's had her first season, so get her spayed. I mean, it lasted for about 4 weeks, and it wasn't that bad, if I'm honest. There was, we didn't have any incidents. No dogs can get in my back garden, so she could go out fine, and I'd take her for walks around the streets early in the morning, and around 8 o'clock around the streets. And there was a little bit of a crossover period where both, I had COVID and she was in season, and we'd come near people and maybe they'd have dogs. I was like, no, don't come near. I was like, she's in season, I have COVID. And they'd be like, okay. Backing away from me. I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to shout. But yeah, it's so it wasn't, it wasn't. I think I'd built it up in my mind. I've never had, well, I want to say I've never had a dog. We had dogs as in the family, but I'd never dealt with that side of things, and I certainly don't remember the dogs we had going through seasons. So I think I'd kind of built it up in my mind as something that was going to be absolutely horrendous. But it wasn't at all. She wasn't, she was a little bit iffy with food and whatnot, and a little bit extra, extra naughty every now and then. But other than that, it was, yeah, there was a little bit of mess, but it was easy to keep on top of, and, again, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, but I am gonna get a spayed. I mean, I've spoken to about 4 vets, and all of them said the recommendation now for a dog her size is let her have 1 season and get her done about 3 months after that. So that is what I am going to do. She's going to get in and be spayed. I mean, it's not cheap by any, stretch of the imagination, but I am going to get that done, and then it'll be done and dusted. She's a good size now, and she's a good healthy weight. So, because I know once you have had them, done, it can stunt growth and whatnot. But the vet said that, to be honest, she's pretty much, they don't expect her to get any bigger than she is now. She's about 28 kilograms, but it's a good 28 kilograms. She's nice and fit. We go on good walks, and it's it's been the making of me and losing weight. I've lost nearly 3 stone now, so, and that is primarily down to walking her. Let me just finish this one off. Yeah, that's primarily down to walking her, forcing myself to. We usually do 2 walks a day. Sometimes, so it'd be a walk before I go to work, or walk in the morning that's normally about half an hour long, and then we'll do about a 40-odd minute one in the evening. Or I'll do a long walk in the afternoon, and potentially we'll go out in the evening as well. But like, for example, yesterday, that long walk we did yesterday, we didn't go out again. That was more than enough for her. So, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I just put my headphones on, and I listen to something on Audible or a podcast. So I'd forgotten how much I enjoy walking. But I do. I just get a good pair of trainers on, and I'm happy as Larry, just walking around. And I can feel the difference from something as simple as walking upstairs. I'll go upstairs and I won't feel out of breath when I get to the top of the stairs, which I know is a horrible thing, but it's stuff like that it's made the difference for me. Let's thread this needle. What time are we on now? We're coming up to 50 minutes. So yeah, I think just got a couple of purchases that I've made. I've got to. I gave my mum the that drawn thread one, Sunnyside sampler that I'd actually... So I'd done 3 things that I'd given my mum. A Cricket Collection one and 2 drawn thread ones. 2 lovely drawn thread ones, Those Who Sing and The Garden Gate. So my Sunnyside sampler one was going to be one for me because I love the drawn thread ones. But then I'd shown it my mum, and my mum had gone, oh, that's lovely, that. And I was like, this would look really nice in your bedroom wall, on your bedroom wall. She's got white walls in her bedroom, like just above her bed. And I was like, it would look really nice up there. So I gave it to my mum. So now I need to stitch a drawn thread for myself. So I really need to stop doing this, but I went on the drawn thread website and I was looking through and I found 2, and then I went on 1 2 3 stitch, and 1 2 3 stitch does that thing, don't they, where underneath the actual pattern they then have all the threads that's needed, and all you have to do is click on them and it does all the threads for you. So that is what I did. I bought 2 patterns, which I'll show you in a sec actually, because they're next to me here, and I just bought these 2 drawn thread ones, and then bought the threads to go with them. And yes, and as per with 1 2 3 stitch, they are very quick, and postage, I still cannot believe how cheap it is to get it. You know, it's, I think it's £4.99 or £3. I think it's £4.99. I mean, that is nothing really. You know, you can buy things in the UK and it costs that much to get it sent to you. Right, this is 1 2 3. This is down 1. Sorry, 1 second. And down. You know, you can. Have I gone wrong on this? Oh, for crap's sake, have I gone wrong on this? Right, so that's 3. No, I've not. So let me show you these patterns. I've got them. I'll show you these, and I think I might. Let's see if we can dig them out. Oh dear, what have I done with them? Here's it out. So I bought these. I'm looking at this now and I'm wondering, have I done this wrong? 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. The 2 and the 1 need to match up. The 2 and right. So anyway, I can fix that in a minute. So this is the first one. This is, let me get this right. So this is Butterfly Garden. Let's see, can you see that? It's absolutely lovely. So that is one I've bought. I can tell you now that's going to be a bugger to do with all that back stitching, but I think it'll look beautiful. And then the other one is this one, and this is the one I'm going to do first of all. This is Kitchen Garden. There you go. So those are the 2 I have bought, and they're, you know, I think they will look lovely. Let's see, can I get them both in? I think they will look lovely together. Yep. But you never know, they may end up with mums as well. But and there's all the threads there, which was really bad of me. I should not have done that, but it was one of those things where I was feeling quite low, and I just went on and went back crap crazy. and this is this is another one that I bought. This is Carriage House Samplings. I've got very few Christmas things because I'm not really a Christmas stitcher, but I saw this and I was like, I like that. That I can handle for Christmas. That's more my aesthetic. I kind of like dark Christmas. So yeah, so those were my purchases that really I need to watch. And I've just dropped something on the floor and I have no idea what it is. But I think I might leave this at that. Leave this at that. Leave this at this. Oh, whatever it is. I need to fix this now because I realised that as I've been nattering along, I have miscounted in 2 different places. That's, you know, that's bloody typical of me. But I think from what I'm looking at, I think it's just literally, I just need to overstitch very quickly. Will not take long at all to fix. But yeah, just wanted to come on, basically put a video up, thank everybody for the lovely comments on my last video. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks until I do my next Flosstube. I may even do another Stitch With Me, depending on how much stitching I do manage to get done. And, you know, depending if all my stitching isn't all, you know, literally me frogging stuff out, which, you know, is a possibility. Because I did it, oh, this is so bloody annoying. I've done it on, might as well show you while it's here as well. This is what I say when I always end up miscounting. I've done it on this. It's my latest Prairie Moon one. Is it here? So this is Martini Witches. Oh, actually, I do really like how this is looking. Let me show you. How cool is this? So this has 2 mistakes. The first mistake is here. This should only be 2 stitches wide, and I ended up putting an extra collar in. No idea why. And yeah, so I've had to do this as 3 as well, so that's knocked everything out now. And then on the witch here, which looks amazing, there's an extra column coming down there, so she's a little bit wider than she's supposed to be. How cute is that? So I'm just going to have to make adjustments to when I'm doing it on this side, but I did something similar on my other Prairie Moon one. It was zombies. One of them is slightly taller than the other one because I did 1 row too many on that. So really, I'm just carrying on the tradition of either making them too tall or too wide. But this is one of the things where I could just, you know, carry on. I didn't need to pick it all out because I still think it looks really cool. And when I pick this up next, I'm going to work on the other witch. But this is one that I can see me finishing quite easily this year because they are so easy to stitch. I know I've said this every time, but they really, I mean, it's a massive chunk of stitching. I mean, there was a huge chunk of stitching in this, but it's easy stitching. Well, comparatively easy. I still managed to get something wrong in it, obviously, but it's really meditative. Oh, I can't say that word. You know what I mean? I can just put something on the telly and just enjoy myself stitching away doing it. But anyway, yes, that is another example of Catherine completely screwing things up. Right, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to fix this, get this uploaded, and I will speak to you all soon. Don't forget, if you would be interested in maybe doing a live stitch with me, it may just be a basic thing like this where, you know, just the one camera angle. I'm not quite up to people like Teresa Little Stitches and, you know, those kind of things with multiple camera angles and the clever frames and all of that, you know. not like that, but if you are interested in a live stitch along, let me know, and I could possibly look to do that. But other than that, I shall hopefully get another video up in a couple of weeks, either another stitch along or a full floss tube, depending on how much I've been able to stitch. But yeah, I've enjoyed this, even though I have slightly screwed up. I hope that you are all safe and well, and yeah, I will speak to you soon. Bye.